Good evening, everybody. This is Luke Chadwick from Sanctuary Belize, and I'm sitting here with Richard Otto, also of Sanctuary Belize. Rich is going to be helping me out on tonight's webinar. How are you, Rich?
Fabulous as always. Always good to be hearing everything from you, Luke.
Well, this is our first webinar for the year, so
it'll be our best.
Well, it'll be our best for 2013. That's for sure. Maybe we'll top it next month. We'll see what happens. But guys, thank you very much for taking the time out of your own personal schedules to learn more about what we're doing in Belize, particularly with our project Sanctuary Belize. As I mentioned, my name is Luke Chadwick, and I am one of the partners and developers for Sanctuary Belize. Been involved in the project for many, many years, and I'm here tonight basically just to share with you what we're doing in Belize. Share the vision with you, share a little bit about our progress that we've been making, what sort of development Sanctuary Belize is, and how you may fit into the picture if you decide that it's something that you have an interest in. At the end of tonight's webinar, when you've been able to hear the information, you may want to take it that one step further and actually go down to Belize and check it out for yourself. Rich, you've been down a number of times. What were your thoughts the first time that you went down?
It's bigger. It's better, it's more beautiful, and I was glad to be there.
Well, good. I'm glad. So with that being said, let's just jump straight into it. We have a lot of information to cover in tonight's presentation. And what we've done is we've divided into two sections. I'll talk about that here in just a second. But we want you to think of this as your webinar. So, we're sitting here in the office right now, and you guys are in the comfort of your own homes. Some of you are in your office, wherever you might be. And we aren't face-to-face. You're not here in our office. We're not sitting across the conference room table discussing what we're doing at Sanctuary Belize, but you are here on a webinar. So we'd like you to think of it as your opportunity, as if you were here in the office, sitting across the table from us, being able to get the information that you would like to know about whether Belize and Sanctuary Belize may be something for you to look a little bit further into. The way that we achieve that is as I said, we divide the webinar into two parts. The first part is going to be what we refer to really as the main session. No rocket science there, but it's our main session where we talk about Sanctuary Belize. That's going to run for about 45 minutes to 1 hour. And then at the end of that, we're going to do a live Q&A session, which will run for probably another hour. But that's when it's your opportunity to ask any questions that you guys might like to. Rich and I will stick around for that. If I can see any of our other guys wandering the halls aimlessly, I will pull them in and I will get those guys to maybe give their feedback on the development, answer some questions as well for you so you can get some different perspective. But it's just like you were here in the office. And we find that this has been, we've been doing these webinars for a long time. And we feel that that is kind of the most valuable part of the webinar, where we're able to answer just your one-on-one questions as it pertains to yourself. So the way that we will do that is that there is a screen, a control panel to the right of screen, and there is a little tab on there for questions, and you can type your questions in. Please don't be offended if I'm not answering the questions as we go, because in the main session, I'm not going to be doing any question answering at all. I don't want you to think that, hey, these guys are ignoring me. They're not wanting to answer my question. That's not true. We're going to come back specifically after the main session and do the live Q&A. So what I also would ask you to do is that I like to read the person's name out who was asked the question and then their question, so that you can be listening for it and know that we're answering your question. If for some reason you don't want us to read your name out, or if it's a confidential question, just write the word confidential ahead of your question so that I can be sure not to read your name out. So hopefully that all makes sense. Rich, does that make sense to you?
It always makes sense when we're here, because the confidential questions sometimes are the best questions.
Sometimes they are. So as I said, main session, 45 minutes to an hour. We're going to bust through that as quickly as we possibly can. We have a lot. Every time we do this, we have more information and we have more development pictures and so forth to show you. And so sometimes it seems to get longer and longer. So we're going to bust through it as quickly as we can. And then we'll come back for the live Q&A session at the end. So let's just jump straight into it. And my first question to you is, who are you? Who are you, Rich? You're close to this category, right?
I am that guy. I was retired, but I came back to work because I like to help people out, and that's what we're doing. We're helping people plan the rest of their lives.
I always give Rich a hard time. He's well, quite affectionately known as the oldest person that we have in the office,
That
but
is
that's
correct.
okay
That is correct.
because
Somebody has to be.
because with being oldest brings experience and perspective.
Yes.
And 40 to 45% of our clients at Sanctuary Belize actually fit into that category. So Richard is actually an authority when speaking to people who are concerned about retirement or retirement-based issues, and how then Sanctuary Belize would relate to them and as an option, Rich.
Right. And the key thing is that most people that I talk to want to go somewhere where it's warm. There's many places to go where you can go warm, but there aren't many places like Sanctuary Belize that have the idea that the development is very eco-friendly. We are very concerned, and we're passionately concerned about the land and the water. I can't say that about every other development. I also can't say that other developments own all the property themselves. And you're going to get into that as to what those advantages are.
Yeah, so very quickly, the question is, who are you? And as you can see on the screen, it says the retiree. So the reason that I'm asking this question is to think about which category tonight do you fall into? And there's a couple of categories. We'll run through them very quickly. And the reason that I ask you to do that is so that you can be thinking about the information that I'm giving you tonight in the context of that category. So if I'm a retiree, the information that you're sharing, how does that apply to me? What does that mean to me? As a retiree, how do I take advantage of that? For example, in Belize, we have something called the QRP, which is the Qualified Retirement Program. And you qualify for that by being 45 years or older and having $2,000 a month in US dollar income or greater than you can substantiate. In the country of Belize, you can qualify for the QRP, which will allow you to bring a ton of things into the country duty-free, such as vehicles, boats, furniture, all your personal effects. When you bring things into the country of Belize, they charge you a customs duty or an import duty. Some of those duties are pretty high. But if you're a retiree under this program, then you're able to bring these things in duty free, which is quite a saving for the retiree. The other benefit that you've got is that there is no tax on foreign earned income if you qualify for the retirement program. And that's something that's very important. So I would also say, Rich, from a retiree's standpoint, and this applies really across all of the categories, but you've got Belize, which is in very close proximity to the United States. We'll look at a map here in just a moment, but for the most part, we're 2 hours away from a number of major cities in the United States, and it's English speaking. It's British common law, so it's the closest thing from a legal standpoint that we have to the United States. It's really the only English-speaking and British common law country in all of Latin America. So that has a lot going for it, particularly for people that are, wanting to venture out. Maybe they're moving somewhere for the first time. They don't necessarily want to have to deal with a country that has, foreign, pardon the pun, but foreign laws than they're used to in the United States. They want something that closely resembles that. Belize does. And they speak the same language down there. So Belize is kind of easy. In fact, they talk about the ease of Belize. But from a retiree standpoint, I'm sure heading into your retirement years, you want it to be easy and not hard, right?
Well, the key thing for the people who are, let's say, 55, 65 years old, is that across the board, they don't want to learn Spanish.
Correct.
It's easy to learn a lot of things when you're 12 and 15 years old in high school or grade school. But as you get older, you just don't have the time for it. And you don't have the patience for it.
Right. The second category is what we deem to be the lifestyle builder. And the lifestyle builder may be somebody who's looking for a second home or a vacation home. And Belize happens to be just a tremendous destination for people in the United States and Canada that are looking for lifestyle-related options and interests and activities, for example. Again, the proximity, it's pretty close. You can get there quickly. It's English speaking. You can communicate. So again, if this is a place that you're going to spend a couple of months of the year, you want it to be easy. If it's a place that you're only going to go down and spend, a couple of long weekends, then you don't want to be spending the whole weekend kind of learning how to converse and communicate with people. So again, English is very important. You mentioned a good thing before, Rich, about your clients and particularly the retiree segment of our clients that are looking for a warm weather destination. In fact, if you research the history of the second home market or the vacation home market in the United States, you'll find that the number one driver for that is weather. And in fact, the top three destinations for second homes in the United States, can you guess where they are?
In the United States?
Yes.
I'm thinking Florida.
One.
California.
No.
Arizona.
Yes.
New Mexico.
Las Vegas.
Las Vegas.
Las Vegas, Phoenix, Arizona, and Miami,
Okay,
Florida.
Great. Okay.
And so Belize has the weather going for it.
Yes.
Absolutely. It averages 83 degrees year round. The water's 80 degrees year round. It's just a beautiful place to be, and it's close, and it's a safe country. The last category is the investor. And this is somebody who is just purely interested in what investment opportunities might exist in the country of Belize. People may have heard of Belize as maybe a financial haven with a good financial services industry. People may have been, they may have set up, offshore entities such as IBCs, for example. Belize is a country that is known for that. It is known for offshore banking that provides, good privacy laws, and the banking, incidentally, is very attractive just from a deposit standpoint. Rich, as you know, we have a program for clients of Sanctuary Belize with one of the banks down in Belize, where for a $50,000 deposit, they will give you a 5% rate of interest.
No, that's 5%, not 0.5%.
That's 5%.
5.0%.
And in fact, even if it was 0.5%, that would be about 5 times better than most people are getting in the United States today.
Right.
So just an incredible opportunity just from a banking standpoint in Belize. But of course, what do we know about real estate? The real estate opportunities are really, they're increasing by the day. The popularity of Belize real estate is increasing dramatically. We've seen it throughout our development, where we started off 4.5 years ago, with one tour per month.
That's
we
right.
now do one tour every single weekend.
And they're full.
And by the time we hit the second quarter of 2014, I nearly said 2014, it looks like we'll be doing 2 full tours every weekend. So, and that's just us.
That's just us. And also, of course, we're having one of the coldest winters ever in the United States and Canada. There's a lot of snow.
Right.
And people are very tired of freezing to death.
Absolutely.
Okay? I mean, every day I hear people thinking, I've got to get out of the cold weather. And when you're talking about 10,000 people retiring every day, not every week, but every day, that's 70,000 people a week retiring in the United States plus Canada. There's a lot of people going south.
Correct. Absolutely. Going to warm weather destinations and to new countries and jurisdictions. Belize just happens to be right up there, close to the top of the list. So from an investor standpoint, Belize is a great place. It's also a great place, again, because the laws in Belize are very similar to the United States, and it's close, and it's a great place to really dip your toe in the water from a real estate investment standpoint if you haven't gone outside of the country before.
Especially because the taxes, I'm sure you're going to know, are very low. The property taxes are almost ridiculously low.
Correct, and we'll get into that here in a little bit. So really the idea is, think about it. You're a retiree. Are you somebody who's looking for a second home or a vacation home? Or are you somebody who's looking for the investment opportunities? Stay tuned to the information that we're going to share with you as to see which category may suit you best. One of the reasons that we love Belize is it's simply beautiful, as you'll see on the screen. Did the beauty knock you kind of sideways when you got down there?
Well, being from California, it takes a lot to impress me because it's pretty warm in California. But the great thing about Belize is that the temperature of the water is not 57 degrees. The temperature of the water is 82 degrees. You can go swimming in the morning. You can go swimming at night. You can go swimming when it's dark or light. That's what I like, in addition to, of course, the fact that the foliage and the birds and the animals are unbelievable.
Absolutely. it's a paradise, undiscovered. That's how I describe Belize. It's slowly being discovered. There's still an unbelievable amount of opportunity in Belize. This is not Costa Rica. It's Costa Rica 20 years ago,
Right.
15 years ago. Um, it's not Mexico. It's not Dominican Republic. It's not Panama. It has all of the beauty and then some of all of those countries, yet it still is largely undiscovered. So, where is Belize and why do we think it's a great location? As you'll see there on the left of screen to the map, the dark green is the map of Belize. And it's a very small country. It's about the size of Massachusetts, so it's a pretty small country. Um, You'll see there also that it's bordered by Guatemala to the east, Mexico to the north, and the Caribbean Sea to the east. Right there in Central America, yet it's Caribbean and it's Latin American and it has British influence because of the fact that up until 1981, Belize was known as British Honduras. So on the right of screen, you'll see some bullet points as to why we think Belize is a great place. Again, we've talked about it multiple times already, but English is the official language. It's a stable British-style government. So this is not a place where you have to go and worry about the government stealing your land and taking it back, as has happened in places like Nicaragua,
Absolutely.
for example. So this is not a civil law country. This is what is known as a common law country. And so it's very, very safe. If you're thinking about going to this part of the world, Belize, Honduras, El Salvador, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Panama, Colombia, Ecuador,
Yes.
Uruguay, wherever, Belize is the only place that has British common law.
That's right.
That provides a very safe haven for you. There's no capital gains tax in the country of Belize. It's very business friendly, approachable government officials. It's within 2 hours of Houston and Miami. We talked about the retirement program, so on and so forth. You'll see the bullet points on there, but I do want to draw your attention to the last bullet point on there. And for example, I have a great story. It just happened to me, and I'm well versed in doing business in Belize. But we had to wire some money down to a domestic Belize dollar account that we had, and we have our CFO here in the office who usually takes care of that stuff. And our CFO was out ill, and on Monday, clueless developer decides he'll go to the bank and wire some money, and I go to wire the money, and the person at Bank of America tells me that the exchange rate is $1.87. I said, $1.87? I said, the currency tracks 2 to 1 with the US dollar. It's 2 Belize dollars for every US dollar.
Exactly.
Not $1.87 for every $1.87 Belize for every $1 US that I send down there. And so I called our bank in Belize, who they have US dollar accounts and Belize dollar accounts, and I just asked the question. I said, when we transfer money from our US dollar account to our Belize dollar account, what's the exchange rate? His answer, 2 to 1.
Right.
I went to Bank of America, it's $1.87. So naturally, I wired the money to our own US dollar account and made the transfer myself. The reason I'm telling you this story is because if you're a retiree, for example, well, if you're anyone, if you're the investor, whoever you are, I mean, no one likes to lose money.
Right.
So I was going to lose money by doing that transaction through Bank of America. I decided, hey, I'll do it a different way and I'll save the money. But if you're specifically a retiree on a fixed US dollar income, sending money down to Belize, you want to send it the most efficient way where you're getting it where it's tracking 2 to 1 with the US dollar and you're not losing any buying power.
Absolutely.
You want to make sure, as I said, you're getting it down there as the 2 to 1 conversion and the ratio. The other thing that's very important is that because it tracks 2 to 1 and it trades 2 to 1, it's not like Mexico with the peso. It's not like in Panama or Costa Rica where the US dollar has lost value as it has against other currencies. And all of a sudden, as a retiree on a fixed US dollar income, your money doesn't go as far anymore. Here in Belize, whatever happens to the US dollar, up or down, it's going to buy you the same in Belize as it would tomorrow or yesterday or the day before, next week or next month. And that's a very, very important consideration. As I said, when you're a retiree on a fixed US dollar income, where that's all you get every month, you want to make sure that it's predictable and it's going to go as far as it possibly can.
So
right?
there's no shrinkage at all.
Correct.
If you walk into a grocery store, and I've done it many times in Belize with a $20 US bill, they'll sell you $40 worth of groceries. End of story.
Correct. So just a caution to you, to those of you out there that may be thinking about doing something, that may be, weighing up multiple countries, that are worried about maybe, and may not have thought about it, but you surely as a retiree would be worried about, well, I have X amount of money to live on for the rest of my life. I have to make sure that it's going to go as far as it possibly will and maintain a certain lifestyle. That may not be the case in other countries.
That's correct.
In Belize, we know that it will. So that's a huge point. I know I spent a little bit of time on it, but it's a very, very important consideration. Our development location at Sanctuary Belize, we are in the southern region known as the Stan Creek District. If you look at the left of screen, you'll see a map of Belize, and that's the mainland. You'll see what appeared to be some green dots and so forth out to the right of that. They're islands in Belize, and there's a ton of islands, about 1,800 islands that dot the coastline of Belize. And in fact, there is a barrier reef that spans the entire length of the country of Belize. It's the second largest barrier reef in the world, behind my home country's barrier reef, the Great Barrier Reef in Australia. But the barrier reef in Belize happens to be the largest barrier reef in the Northern Hemisphere. And we are down in the southern area. You'll see there between the towns of Hopkins and Placencia. You'll see there Sanctuary Belize. And we're a 14,000 acre development, gated community, and we have some of the premier coastline in all of Belize. One thing that I would like to draw your attention to, and Rich, I'll have you comment here in a minute, is really the difference between us and pretty much any other developer in the country of Belize and maybe elsewhere,
right,
is our financial stability. So we happen to develop kind of, with the old school mentality, is we develop within our means, and we try to operate, or not try to, but we operate from a debt-free perspective. So what that means is that we own our property, all 14,000 acres, debt-free. We don't have any mortgages with the bank. We don't have a construction loan that we have to pay back every month. We own the property free and clear, debt-free. What does that mean to you? That means that you can invest in this development without fear of us as a developer maybe going bankrupt, not being able to meet our financial obligations to a bank, and then being foreclosed on and having a development half finished. In your 4 years with the company, Rich, would you say that's a key consideration for a lot of people?
Well, it's a key consideration for anybody that knows a little bit about investing overseas. And for those who have never invested overseas, it should be a consideration, because so many, not everyone, but the majority, the vast majority of most developments overseas, they borrow money from the bank. We've seen them in Costa Rica, Panama, Mexico, even in Belize. They borrow the money, they run short, business goes bad, they walk away. Everybody who put their money in loses everything. Correct. Because they can't pay the notes. The great thing about Sanctuary Belize, it's a cash-on-cash basis. We have money coming in every month. We have sales every month. We build our development with the money that comes in. We're never indebted to anybody. That's what's so beautiful. The power of the business is that we can afford financing to other clients that other people can't do because we own it all ourselves.
Correct. And that's a key consideration. I want to let you know, not that I'm on here to sell property to you tonight. That'll come later, of course.
Of course.
But all jokes aside, if you in fact wanted to own real estate tonight, you can own real estate tonight. No problem. I'll talk about it later, but that's actually the difference between us and pretty much any other development. If you were to go into pretty much any other country in the world, but particularly a Central American, South American country, Rich, what could you expect to be the terms if you were going to buy real estate and finance it with a bank and with a local bank in one of those countries?
Well, they might want 50% down.
50% down, absolutely.
50% down.
And what sort of interest rate?
Oh, you're going to be talking double-digit interest rates.
Correct.
You're going to be talking 50% down and 9, 10, 12% interest if you qualify.
So let's say that you went down to Belize. Correct, if you qualify. And all of these countries, if they're dealing with Americans, they know American lending standards, so they know about our credit system here and our credit reports, FICO scores, all the rest of it. So they ask Americans for a copy of their credit report.
Of course.
They want 2 years tax returns, so they actually make it quite difficult. However, let me tell you this, 50% down and 10% interest is kind of standard when you're buying international real estate. Maybe you might be able to get as little as 30% down. Even in Australia, which is my home country, as a foreign investor, you're going to need about 30% down.
Right.
And your interest rate's going to be 8.5%, 9%.
Right.
And Australia is a pretty well-known country.
And again, if you qualify.
If you qualify. So the difference between us and any other development in Belize, if you're considering maybe doing something else in Belize, is to know that these are the things that you may be considering. You may have to put 50% down. You may have to come up with, or you may, have to expose yourself to double-digit interest rates. From our perspective, because we own the property, that allows us to provide the financing, and we can do it for as little as $5,000, $10,000 down, and find a comfortable monthly payment for you, and then that gets you in. That gets you in the door. We don't ask for a credit report. We don't look for a FICO score. We don't look for your tax returns, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. But the good news for you guys that are out here tonight, maybe considering Sanctuary Belize for the first time, is that you're not necessarily the pioneer anymore.
Right.
We started this many years ago, and in fact, we're nearing now. We'll hit by the end of this first quarter $100 million in receivables. So we as the developer will hold $100 million of notes that people pay on every single month. That's 3 times as much to get the development finished.
Wow.
So to give you an idea of now how stable we are from a cash flow perspective, it's allowed us to build up great monthly receivables that help people like yourself come in the door, but still know that there's enough money there to get the development done without having all the risk of borrowing the money from a bank and indebting your project. So our business model, first and foremost, is cash. It's seen us in the early years move a lot slower than a traditional development. However, the trade-off is that we drop most of the risk.
Right.
And we found that to be a very prudent decision in the midst of the global financial crisis, to take a more prudent, slower road, yes, but a more fiscally responsible approach to developing our project. Now, a number of years later, we're kind of over the hump, and we have great receivables that are helping us move along, just as if we had our construction loan with our cash business model. We have a huge appraised value, and this was back from 2009 of $150 million with zero debt, which means that we have a lot of equity, we have cash flow, which makes us a great candidate to borrow money for the banks. We just don't want to at this particular point in time because we don't need to, but it equals unparalleled financial strength. So you know that if you're going to do business with us at Sanctuary Belize, our business model is sustainable, but I won't say zero risk. There's nothing in life that's zero risk, but we've mitigated as much of the risk as we possibly can, and we cannot possibly be foreclosed on from a bank. So if you're thinking about making the investment here, and you're concerned about the longevity of your investment, hey, am I going to lose my money? Are these guys going to run out of steam? Just know that that can't happen with our development. So moving on now to our development, we're a residential resort and marina development. Our cornerstones for development, I'll go through this very quickly because I'm trying to stick to the time. I know I won't. We're going to go a little over, but that's okay. The first is conservation of nature. The second is eco-conscious living. The third, holistic wellness. And the fourth, outdoor pursuits. What does all that mean? It means that we want to, have as minimal a footprint as possible without disturbing the environment and our natural resources within Belize. So we want to be very eco-conscious about the development. But then we want to focus on things like holistic wellness and outdoor activities. We don't want you stuck in front of a TV in your retirement in Belize. We want you outside enjoying all of the natural assets of Belize and, just the way of life down there, which is kind of second to none. We have a 5 ecosystem development. We believe we're the world's only 5 ecosystem development. What that means is that we have 5 different and distinct ecosystems within the confines of one piece of property, Rich.
Exactly. And It's Frank Connolly, he's the director. I mean, how many developments have a director of sustainability? How many developers have a full-time gentleman who does nothing more than make sure, and everywhere we go, whether it's the river, the savanna, the jungle, the marina reef, that we are guarding nature and preserving what we have. Johnny Usher, the chairman of the board, the gentleman who lives on the property, what does he say? Let's do it right once, the first time, and we'll never have to do it again. I like that kind of planning. Yes, it takes us a little longer to do something. It may cost us a little bit more to do it. But when we're done, we have a legacy for our children and our grandchildren. If that's not important to you, then maybe you're looking at the wrong place.
Correct. Very well said, Rich. So the 5 different ecosystems that we have is the riverine, the savanna, the jungle, the marine, the coastal marine areas, and the barrier reef. So we know that you're not a 5 ecosystem development if you're not in Australia or if you're not in Belize,
right,
with the barrier reef. So we have the reef. Now, you could have a reef system. It's certainly not anything substantial that we have in Belize or we have in Australia. And so, again, we had to change our Discover Belize tour video. It used to be Discover Belize tour. And people thought that this was a video from the Belize Tourism Board because it encapsulated all of Belize. And we're like, no, we have to change the name and say it's the Discover Sanctuary Belize tour, because everything you see on that video is our property.
That's right.
And so we're a very, very diverse piece of property. Very rarely can you say that you're everything to everybody. In fact, no one can really say they're everything to everybody. Even we can't. But we think we're most things to most people. So if you're somebody who's looking for large acreage, we have that. If you're looking for something on the water, we have that. If you're looking for something on the river, we have that. If you're looking for something with access to the reef on a daily basis, we have that. If you want to be along the coastline, we have that. So if you want to be up in the jungle, a lot of people want to be up in the jungle, we have that. If you want to look over the savanna that is reminiscent of the Serengeti Plains, we have that as well. Right. So we have a lot of options for a lot of different people from a lot of different walks of life. And we're very proud of the fact that we're a 5 ecosystem development. On the screen now, you will see an overview of our master plan. And this is only part of our development, but this is the development footprint. It's about 4,000 acres. You'll see some names on there that may resonate with you if you've been talking to somebody for a period of time. But we have the Waterway Village area, the Equestrian Estates, the Northridge Estates, Sapodilla Ridge. Those are subdivisions within our development that are active right now, and mostly the Equestrian Estates and Northridge Estates. We have other parts of the development that are now sold out. Sapodilla Ridge is largely sold out. We may have 1 or 2 lots that have come back onto the market, but for the most part, there's 350 approximately lots in that area that are now sold out. But some great opportunity, and as you'll see there, it's a very, very large piece of property. Rich, you mentioned right at the beginning it was a lot larger than you thought when you went down.
Well, when you are in the equestrian area and you look across 2 miles of savanna, and you realize I live 2 miles from the ocean in California, and there's a lot of buildings. There's red lights, there's stop signs, there's traffic congestion, even in Newport Beach, California. It's a straight shot from the equestrian area down to the Marina Village. It's 2 miles of a very nice, well-kept road. You can go 30 or 40 miles on. You can be there in 4 or 5 minutes.
Correct. So as you'll see on the screen, some of the community amenities, we have more than this, but we have the City River Wildlife Reserve. That's a 10,000 acre piece of property that we have that we're setting aside as a nature reserve that will never develop. It's part of our EIA, which is our environmental impact assessment, that mandates that we can't develop within that 10,000 acres. So as we've described, in the past, rarely do you get an opportunity to live side by side with nature whilst at the same time having your investment help protect that environment. And so next to us, there's 110,000 acre Coxcomb Basin, which is home of the only jaguar preserve in the world. But we're right next door to that, in 10,000 acres. In fact, almost 2/3 of our property we're setting aside as a nature preserve, a wildlife reserve known as the City River Wildlife Reserve. We have a 250 slip full service marina. We have a marina village, beach club, private island, the Puramaya Spa and Fitness Center, 5 eco experience hotel, world-class diving facilities, equestrian center, and of course a fishing club. On the screen here now, you'll see an aerial picture of our deep water marina. And our deep water marina was flooded back in October of 2012. I can make the announcement. We haven't sent the press release, so read into that what you will. Maybe this is some great information I'm sharing with you before we put the press release in and there's value added. But we have signed an agreement with a marina management company by the name of IGY. And incidentally, last week, IGY just won Marina of the World. They were their marina in Cabo San Lucas, Mexico, was regarded and honored as the #1 marina in the world. So they won that award by being the marina operator. And so we've contracted with IGY to operate our marina in Belize. Very hard to get them on board. They only take the best of the best. And we felt very, very good about the fact that they chose to sign on with Sanctuary Belize. So here in the coming weeks, there'll be an announcement about that appointment to IGY. And probably coming straight after that will be the announcement of IGY's award of the Marina of the Year through Cabo San Lucas. So as we mentioned, it's a 250 slip full service marina. It's operational today. You can put your boat in there on one of the slips. We have about 50 slips that are already in. The gas dock is currently going in, and we have some facilities that are going in. We have our restaurant and bar that are currently under construction. So a lot of activity happening within the marina. The Marina Village itself will be home of restaurants, cafes, shops, boutique hotel. We are about to break ground. We're very excited, Rich, on 13 villas out on the point, which is what you see on the left of screen.
Outstanding design. I like what I see. All surrounding a swimming pool, correct?
Correct, yeah.
That's going to be the premier place for a few people.
Very excited, and we're just going to market with those 13 villas now. I believe that they'll probably sell out within the first week or two that we make them available to the public. Our private islands. So when you become an owner at Sanctuary Belize, you can also brag to your friends that you own a private island.
I do it all the time.
Well, you're an owner. That's
I know. I do it all the time.
So as a shared amenity and common area of the development is the 6-acre private island known as Sanctuary Key. And when you come down on one of our Discover Sanctuary Belize tours, we actually take you out for the day on the Sunday we call Island Day. And we take you out and give you a taste of island life and let you do as much or as little as you like. You could be out paddleboarding, kayaking, swimming, fishing, diving. You could be snorkeling. A lot of people have been out snorkeling and spearfishing lobster, for example. We cook it up right there on the island on the barbecue for lunch. It's just an unbelievable experience, and we spend the day out there. Some people think, oh, we're going to be out all day just on an island.
They don't want to leave.
No, they think they're going to be bored, and at the end of the day, they don't want to leave.
No, nobody wants to leave.
So it's absolutely jaw-droppingly beautiful. It's just an unbelievable place. Here's an artist rendering of our private beach club that we're just opening right now, and you'll see some actual photographs of that here in just a little bit. But our beach club, Rich, how would you describe the beach club?
I'd like to have it in my backyard. Of course, it is in my backyard because I'm an owner there, and you can go there anytime you want. And now the restaurant's open, right?
It is. So yep. we're very proud. It's not open for full 3 meals a day at this point in time, but on the weekends it's there. You can get fed, and you can be swimming in the pool. The bar is open. Life is good at the Sanctuary Belize Beach Club.
I always ask myself, what are all the poor people doing?
So we're real excited about that. Our model homes, we have a lot of different models, and we can show you some photographs of those here in a moment. These are some artist renderings which look very much like this in real life now. A lot of different floor plans available for you. Our model homes, on average, are about $150 per square foot. If you want a custom home, now at $150 a square foot, you can also be up to $175, $200 a square foot if you want all the bells and whistles. But these are the highest quality of homes and build of homes that you will find in the country of Belize. They're hurricane rated to Dade County, Florida hurricane standards. Very, very well put together homes. Our builder at Sanctuary Belize, Anthony Mock, is from Florida. The guy has built about 5,000 homes, knows what he's doing down there, and delivers an exceptional product. We have a number of different models starting at about $150 a square foot, and as I said, could go all the way up to $200 a square foot. From a custom home standpoint, it's really anywhere from about $125 a square foot and north of that, depending on what sort of home you want. Right. So just know that the building technology in Belize is lagging that of the United States. So, modern style homes that you would have built here in the United States that might cost you, let's call it $125 a square foot, because the technology is not down there. That same home might be $200 a square foot in Belize.
And there's studios too.
Conversely, you might get a home like our models, right, which at $150 a square foot come in a little cheaper than if you built the same home in Florida.
Right.
So it's par for the course, depending on what you want. But just know that the cost for a custom home really could be anything, but it's probably starting out at $125 a square foot and going up from there. So on the screen now, I'm just going to go through some slides. Rich, you can chip in where you want, where you see. But these are actual photos of the development, and it's going to highlight some development progress. I've got a couple of these slides because, as I said, as we continue to have development progress down there, I just kind of add that in. It becomes more and more. But this is an aerial of our marina basin that kind of gives you an idea as to how much earth moving actually went on and took place. It's a 40-acre basin, and we removed enough dirt in there to fill about half the Empire State Building.
And it was lined with 680 2-ton, 5-foot wide, 10-foot tall cement, like giant letter L's put together like Legos. That's an engineering feat.
680 of those.
Yeah, that's like putting together the Mayan temples almost.
The unfortunate thing for us now that it's full of water
can't tell.
Is that you can't see all the work we did. But that was a couple of years in the making. A lot of money and financial resources went into that. And but it's operational now. So it is, in fact, the best quality marina that you'll find anywhere in Belize. Some pictures here of our homes under construction. I'll actually draw your attention to the color of the water in the pool.
Yeah.
Pretty inviting, Rich?
Not really, but that was the day after they built the pool. Now it's crystal clear blue, and I think it's salt water, right? It's just, all the pools are salt water.
All salt water down there. And you'll
Great
see, the reason I draw your eye to that color of the water, because you'll see here what it looks like today here in just a moment. This is the interior of one of the custom homes that we have on site. Looking up at the exposed beams there, that's sapodilla wood from the sapodilla tree in Belize. And the reason that I draw your attention to that is because there's a lot of natural hardwoods in Belize that are absolutely beautiful. Sapodilla, mahogany, teak, lots of different woods that you can get right there in the country of Belize that are just beautiful. So again, another home that was under construction. This is the home of Tom Herskowitz. Tom is our owner's advocate. Tom was the first full-time resident at Sanctuary Belize. And in fact, this home was featured in the Wall Street Journal, I think, in October last year, Rich.
Oh, I happened to be in there, in that home with Tom and his wife, Patricia, and they have just done a wonderful job of decorating. If you get a chance to come down to one of the tours, if you get a chance to go into that house, you're going to realize what you can do in Belize.
Yeah. And here's a picture of us with the pilings and putting the platforms in for the 50 slips that we have in, 50-odd slips. Another picture here with the workers there to give you some perspective of size, right? So this is 15 feet in depth, the marina basin, and as I mentioned, 40 acres deep.
It was
quite an engineering feat.
It really was.
So just to give you an idea of that. And that's it on October 21st, 2012, when we flooded it full of water. If you missed it, don't worry. We have a great video that Scott Houston put together, some time-lapse video that kind of captures that. We can send that out to you, and you can take a look at that for yourself. But we were very, very proud of that. Here are some of our model homes that were under construction, and you can see the pools going in. But this is an aerial now in the Sapodilla Ridge area. And these are actual homes as they were under construction. And this one, as it was very, very close to being completed, a 4-bedroom home. Another aerial now of the marina basin looking out into a larger body of water known as the Sapodilla Lagoon, which is a 500-acre body of water. It's the only Really, it's one of the only natural deep water harbors, safe harbors in all of Belize, all along the coastline. And then through that, there's a little peninsula and opening out into the Caribbean Sea. So that gives you a bit of idea on perspective of where we're located, how well back and protected our marina is, where the marina village is, and how our development is situated to the coastline. And again here, an aerial. This is from the south of Sapodilla Ridge looking north now, and you'll see there some dirt towards the middle of that photograph headed down, and that is their residential lots fronting that front canal that in turn looks out over the Sapodilla Lagoon. So that's about 110 feet, I guess, on average width all along that canal. Here's our beach club as we were under development with that.
And there's that same pool.
There's the same pool. So that's the dirty water pool that I showed you before, and that's what it looks like today. So absolutely beautiful saltwater pools. We have the gas tiki torches there. Very well appointed homes, granite, marble, stainless steel appliances, travertine flooring, hardwood mahogany flooring. Again, our beach club as it was under, and these photos are in no order, by the way. These are just photos as the development was progressing. And this is our tent hotel, just steps from the beach, and a bed that we actually made. We recycled that from wood on a residential lot as we were clearing that out, or a road as we were clearing it out. So we take, it's part of our, our sustainability model of, taking our natural assets, in this case wood, and taking it to the wood shop and transferring it and transforming it rather into a bed there. So we can actually make your bed for you. If you find a tree on your lot, for example, we can cut that tree down and we can make that into furniture.
Or a dining room table.
We do it on site, right?
Yeah, right there. They're wonderful craftsmen.
And this is a picture of the restaurant that's going in at Sanctuary Belize. So just a huge area, this palapa. The photos don't do it justice, but it's huge. I mean, when were you there last, Rich?
In September, and they're getting ready to put the walls in again, to put the electricity. This particular house is right across the street from my lot. I believe this is on Sapodilla Ridge 193 or 194.
194, yeah.
And my lot is directly across the street from this.
Yep. So these are bamboo homes. So we as the builder are building concrete style homes that you saw before. And one of the options from one of our approved builders is to build a bamboo home.
A lot of people like bamboo.
Yep. We have a number of bamboo homes. I've got some recent development progress just from last month. This month, from last weekend, actually, that I'll show here in a moment. But there are a number of different models, different sizes in the bamboo homes, but really, really popular amongst a number of our owners. And, really lends itself, I think, to the tropics.
Yeah.
So you see, some of the architecture, some of the inside features of the home, which are bamboo ceilings. In that particular home, you'll have bamboo floors as well. This is Diane Allen, who was actually here in the office today, Rich.
All day today. Wonderful. From Canada, by the way.
Yep. Diane is our development liaison with our clients. So any questions that you might have about development, getting a home built down in Belize,
she's already there.
Forth, she's already got a home built. She's blazed that trail before you, and can certainly help you out from that perspective. Another one of our builders, Dennis Weiss there. Dennis's building style is more eco-friendly, I guess.
Even more eco-friendly.
Because they use ICF, which is insulated concrete forms, very energy efficient homes. This is Tom's home. That yellow was is not the final color of the house, by the way. It's toned down considerably. But some pictures of his kitchen.
That's quite a kitchen. That's quite a kitchen.
That's a chef's kitchen.
I can't imagine any wife on the phone right now not wanting to have that kind of kitchen.
And if you like the woodwork there and the quality and craftsmanship, that was done on site.
On site with our wood from the property.
Yeah. So again, I'm kind of racing through some of these photos, but these again are our models with the travertine floors there. These are poured in place concrete walls from concrete forms that we have, stainless steel, granite. This is an aerial that we took probably in, I'd say, August of last year, showing the islands in Sapodilla Ridge as they were being formed.
Right.
As we were excavating those, all of those islands are almost finished here. Looking south now at the same thing, and again, some of these photos, as I said, a little redundant, but showing some of the progress. This is up into the equestrian estates now, and looking, showing the roads that are put in. That aerial with the red roof home is showing my partner John Usher's home. He lives on site on the development, backing up to the City River. Here's an aerial photograph of our beach club.
Magnificent. The only word I can use to describe this is magnificent, because you have the view from the pool, and you can see that the color of the pool is almost the same color as the ocean.
Yeah, it puts it in perspective.
When you're sitting in your chair, which I was a couple of months ago, at that pool, and you look out, you look through the pool and then in the ocean, you're not quite sure whether you want to go swimming in the pool or go swimming in the ocean.
Yeah.
So it's very inviting when you're done. And of course, now you can sit by the pool, order your cocktails, order your lunches from the club, and sit back and relax. It's a private club, really.
Yeah, and we did that by design.
Yeah.
So we took a green glass tile, and it mimics the color of the Caribbean
Perfect.
Sea. So, and there is, again, the beach club as it was under construction. And I'm racing through those because you'll see the finished product here in a moment. There's Johnny's home on the City River. Here's one of our islands. So this gives you an aerial view of what it might be like to live on an island. The width of the canals there. You can see this particular person with the brown roof home with the 3 pods there has built a slip right into his lot. He has a 50-foot slip there. He's parking his boat really right in his driveway, Rich.
And anybody who has a waterfront home can do exactly the same thing.
Well, most people will.
Exactly.
Absolutely. So if you ever dreamed about, pulling your own boat up to your driveway, it's absolutely possible on our island lots or waterfront lots that we have at Sanctuary Belize. An aerial photo of our model home center, and looks a little bit different from the ground, obviously, but shows the different models as they were going up. That photograph is featuring a number of different times. Here it is from a different angle now, looking back over the Savannah and the Maya Mountain Range, Rich. A different internal photograph of one of the models. This is a 3-bedroom, all under one roof model. So some of them are pods, and some of them are all under one roof. This is a custom home that is being built on one of the islands. In fact, this home is almost finished now. Very excited. We call it the James Bond house because this home is almost zero lot line right on the water, and there's a slip cut from the canal right in underneath the house.
So the garage, they can put their boat in the garage.
So there's on one side the boat, on the other side you drive in and the car goes there.
It is a James Bond house.
Yeah. And some happy people on one of our tours having a good time. They're having lunch at the Sanctuary Belize Beach Club. This is Canantique. This is where you'll stay when you come on one of our tours. It's about 5 minutes south by boat from Sanctuary Belize, and that'll be your view in the mornings, Rich. You've stayed there a couple of times.
I don't want to leave when I'm down there.
Yeah, it's
They
beautiful.
have to drag me to the plane.
Yeah. So.
And I went sailing on the catamaran with one of my clients the day before I left, and it was just sensational.
Yeah.
I mean, you jump out on the water, it's 80 degrees, the breeze is blowing. I mean, this is as close to paradise as you can get.
So what I have for you now these are development progress photos as of last week that I mentioned to you.
1 week ago.
So this is one of our latest models. It's almost completed. It's probably going to be complete here within the next 30 days.
Right.
This is a little bit different. So this is stone flooring. It has an outdoor kitchen under that middle section.
Right.
It has a screened-in porch area as well upstairs, and it too looks out over the Savannah. Here's our beach club bar.
Oh my gosh, I haven't seen that. They didn't have that when I was there in September.
Nice fans
I've
up
got to
there.
get back down there.
We have these anti-glare outside waterproof TVs there,
Right.
so you can be down there watching the game. And in fact, if you want to go down there this weekend, you can watch the Super Bowl.
There we go.
From there. But the bar is just unbelievable. That's the bar there looking out over the pool.
So they do serve cocktails.
Yeah, one or two. On
One
the
or two, okay.
Maybe three if you like.
Maybe 3, all right.
Seems my slide has frozen here just for a second, guys. or maybe I'm purposely
Thinking about the three
subliminally trying to
Yeah. Thinking about the three
subliminally trying to keep you looking at the beach club.
Well, the
and wanting
great
to
thing,
be
of
there.
course, is that the people that work there, Luke, are so friendly. I mean, you know, the bartenders, the waitresses, the people who work in the kitchen, the food is just unbelievable. When you go down there and you start eating their rice and their chicken and their lobster and shrimp and the crab, nobody does rice like the people in Belize do. It's just unbelievable.
So just bear with me, guys. I'm trying to redo this slide now because it got stuck.
Try one more time.
It's not wanting to go any further today.
Mm-hmm.
Always a technical hitch, guys, on these webinars. Let me tell you, I've been doing these for about 5 years now, and there's always some technical hitch. But I put this slide in today because I wanted to show the development progress.
Can we skip to another?
Well, let me see if I can. Just bear with me, guys. I'm sorry.
Well, the great thing about
Try it
the
one
tour,
more time.
Sure.
Go ahead about the tour.
Yeah, the great thing about the tour is that you get to spend all day Saturday on the property driving around in either a Jeep or a Polaris. So you get to spend 2 or 3 hours at this pool, swimming in the pool, having a nice barbecue. Then we get on boats and go up or down the river, right?
Correct.
Okay. And so then, of course, then Sunday we go to the island and we spend the whole day out there. So it's really like the entire time is a vacation.
It is a
think
vacation.
About it. Yeah, it's a vacation. But at the same time, you're looking to acquire property on that vacation.
Absolutely. So we're very proud of our awards. The reason that we share that with you is to know that you're dealing really with the largest private real estate developer in the country of Belize. You know, from our development standpoint, but we're now a multi-award-winning development with the International Property Awards. These are really the most prestigious property awards in the world. And in 2011, we won our first awards. Right. And that's a photo on the screen. If you want to know what Richard Otto looks like, he's the one to the left of screen, the young man with the glasses, and holding up the gold plaque is myself. And in 2011, we won 2 awards. We won a 5-star award for Best Developer Website, but we also won the Development Award for Best Development for the country of Belize for multiple units. We were able to back that up in 2012, right. And I'm pleased to announce now, here in January, right. that we won it again in 2013.
Plus some other ones.
So I won't bore you with all of the awards other than last year's awards, but we won 6 awards last year.
6.
One of which we won Best Development for the country of Belize for multiple units. Right. We won Best Mixed Use Development for Belize. Right. We won Best Developer Website for Belize. Right. We actually won Best Developer Website for Central and South America. And we won the Best Developer Website in the world for 2 years running now.
So if you buy property at Sanctuary Belize and you're concerned about the future of sales, because everybody should be concerned, right? They don't want to be the only person. Of course, we sold 800 lots already. But I'm saying when you become, let's say, the number 801 person who buys property here, we have the number 1 website in the entire world driving this, along with all the television and radio advertising. The momentum behind it right now is frankly sustainable, almost like a tsunami coming in. That's how many people. We have thousands of people inquiring every month now.
Yeah,
thousands.
And Rich is right. You know, it's a good point. We don't want to brag on it that, hey, we're the best in the world. But it is important for your standpoint to say, well, how sustainable is this?
Yeah.
How many more people are coming to do this
Everybody.
After me?
Right.
And the after me means that there is a market there for you, and there's value in your real estate purchase down in Belize.
As an investor, you're going to make money. As a person who's moving there for your family and legacy behind you, 5, 10, 20 years from now, you're looking at $1 million lots.
Absolutely. So, but what I am pleased to announce is, yes, we won Best Developer Website internationally for the world again last year, 2 years in a row. But what I'm more excited about is that we we were successful in winning Best Mixed Use Development in all of Central and South America last year. So we're very, very excited about that award. We are the only member of the Association of International Property Professionals in the country of Belize. And I happen to also sit on the disciplinary committee. So if there are any issues with developers out there, maybe, acting, well,
misrepresenting,
whatever. There could be a myriad of different things about not necessarily following best practice.
Right.
You can lodge a complaint to the AIPP, of which their disciplinary board will hear that, and I'm one of the people that sit on that board. We have great government support. We're endorsed by the government of Belize. We have an approved duty concession in the amount of $157 million Belize, and we have a fully approved environmental compliance plan with the government of Belize. Let's talk about your opportunity as we get through this, and it's really the Discover Sanctuary Belize Tour. It's nothing more, nothing less than that. We're not here to sell you a piece of property tonight, because until you get down there, we don't know if it's a fit for you. So we like to send you down there and host you for the weekend and show you what we're doing with the development. And you can make up your mind when you're down there, whether it's for you or whether it's not for you. So, there won't be any high pressure sales tactics when you're down there. We think that Belize is the best salesperson that we have. And our agenda, I'll be honest about it, is just to get you to go and see it. And we hope that when you're down there, that you like it so much that you'll do what 80% of the people do when they go down there, is that they actually buy some real estate when they're there. So the Discover Belize Sanctuary Belize Tour is the best way to go about doing that. We get our boots on the ground. We get you out. We get you dirty.
Yep.
We show you all around the development as a construction site. We show you the lots. We show you what we're building. We show you the marina. We show you the beach club. We show you the organic gardens. We show you everything that we're doing, the roads that we're putting in, the infrastructure that we're putting in, a lot of different things. And then we have some leisure time as well. We can hang out, swim in the river. We can cruise along in the boats on the river as well. We go out to the island for the day. There's a lot of great things to do. But the purpose of the weekend is really to introduce you to beautiful Belize and all that it has to offer, to introduce ourselves as your friends and partners in the development as we're partnering together to get this thing done, to get you better and find out how we can best help you. So, by spending some time with you over the weekend, we get to know you. We get to figure out, what are you looking for? What do you want in a retirement destination? What do you want in a second home destination? We can help guide you as best we can. We're there to answer all of your questions. We do have a scheduled one-on-one appointment with the principals of the development so that you can sit down and ask us questions directly as it pertains to yourself. But above and beyond everything else, it's really just to enjoy each other's company and have what, Rich?
Fun.
So here's a small little video as to what you could expect on the Discover Belize Tour should you want to come down and join us. Does it make you want to go back, Rich?
Well, I just keep trying to remind myself that this is an adventure. I was thinking in terms of one of my clients, a little bit more mature, and she said, "What am I going to do with the rest of my life?" Her children are grown and they have left, right? And she said, "Am I going to stay in Cleveland shoveling snow? Right? Am I going to spend the rest of the time in my neighborhood, or am I going to go somewhere and enjoy the rest of my life?" That's why she likes Sanctuary Belize.
Great. Common theme amongst a lot of people that are looking for that quality of life that exists down in Belize. When you're there, you'll stay at an award-winning resort, as I mentioned, Can Antique. It was voted by Condé Nast Traveler in 2012 as the #1 resort in Belize, also the #1 resort in all of Central and South America.
Can't do better than that.
So we're very proud of that honor. It made it into the top 100 list of resorts in the world. So not too shabby digs you'll be staying at. You'll enjoy it down there. Iris is our general manager, does an outstanding job. Incidentally, is also an owner at Sanctuary Belize. So she's a great person to talk to about, buying property there and then having a life in Belize. And what does her life, look like now that she's down there and she's working? And talk to Iris when you go down there on the tour. So let's talk about the financing of the property. I know I mentioned it earlier, but we have attractive in-house financing, maybe the best financing available in all of Latin America. I don't know, maybe it is. I happen to think that it is. But we have financing packages to suit every needs and budget. What do we know about real estate? Real estate provides you with a lot of options, and it provides you with a lot of benefits. But what's the key to accessing those benefits?
Finance.
Well, you got to own the property.
Got to own it.
So to own the property, you got to pay for it some way. It's either cash, or it's either you got to qualify for financing, or in this case, you deal with the developer who provides the in-house financing for you yourself, where you can own the property at the end of the weekend when you're in Belize, if the shoe fits. We have 5 to 30-year terms. We have 0 interest programs available. We have 0 down. We have cash discounts, 15% off, everything in between. So we have great options available for you if you're interested in purchasing a lot and joining that list of 800 and growing every weekend. So to do that, we have what is called our lot reservation program. And it's your opportunity to choose a lot to just reserve with your consultant. How you do that is you send us a $5,000 fully refundable reservation deposit. And for doing that, we're going to give you a 5% discount on not only your lot purchase now, but all lot purchases.
All lot purchases.
If you want to buy another lot later on down the road, the 5% applies. You might ask yourself, why would you do that? Why would you knock 5% off the price? The average lot price, and I'm not saying that we're starting at this price point, but the average lot price is about $250,000. So do the math on that. What's the average saving on that, Rich?
$12,500.
Right. So you send in 5, you save $12,500.
That's a good deal.
And it's fully refundable. And, it doesn't, you can change your mind when you're on the tour. You might put it on lot A now before you go down. And then when you go down and see the development, you may say, hey, now that I'm here, I want to change to lot B.
No
problem. You can do that. Or you can say, hey, this isn't for me. I want my $5,000 back. No problem. The reason why we as the developer do that is because we know the minute that you make a financial commitment to something, you're going to start to pay a little bit more attention to it. And there is a lot of information that we'd love to send you ahead of the tour so that you're more prepared when you get down there. And that's really our rationale behind the lot reservation program. We're just prepared to reward you financially for making a commitment before you go down, which is, again, there's no obligation, fully refundable. We just think that you're going to start to do your homework a little bit more. You're going to be more prepared when you get down on the tour. And those guys on the tour, head by Mark Rademacher down there, they're not going to be starting from scratch when you get down there. Really important when you only have a limited amount of time. So that's our rationale behind it. To qualify for the lot reservation program, we would ask that we receive your lot reservation by this Friday, 5 p.m. California time, the 31st of January. So that's going to get you your 5% discount. You can go any time in the future, and that'll reserve a lot for you. No one can take it. It's yours until you get down there to decide whether you want it or not, whether you want to change it out or not, whatever. So $5,000 refundable deposit gets you a 5% discount. Guys, I want to thank you very much for joining. The webinar by no means is designed to answer every single question about the development. We'd be here for a long time. It's really just to give you an overview. We hope we're able to do that for you this evening. We hope that we were able to pique your interest in maybe coming to see the development firsthand and enjoying this 85-degree weather that we have this week in Belize. So the Q&A session, I'm just going to take a 2 or 3 minute break while I get a glass of water. Start typing your questions in to the box on the right of screen. If you want to call in, talk to somebody about the tour and booking it, talk to somebody about the lot reservation program, you can call us here at the office. We have people here at Sanctuary Belize. The number is 949-757-0949. If you were referred over by our exclusive in-country agent, which is Coldwell Banker Belize, the number is 1-855-7-BELIZE, which is 1-855-7723-5493. And if you were invited to tonight's webinar from somebody from Belize, you can call in and talk to one of those guys tonight. Their number is 1-800-450-4875. So again, type your questions in. That's the end of the main session. We'll be back in about 2 or 3 minutes, and we'll come in with the Q&A. But guys, thanks for taking the time, and I hope that we see you down at Sanctuary Belize sometime soon. Hi guys, thanks for waiting around. I got Charmaine Voss here she is our broker from Coldwell Banker Belize. I told you I would rope somebody in. And Charmaine, thank you for volunteering. But we're going to get you to answer some questions so that those folks that are on the webinar tonight can get a little bit different perspective on, you know, from somebody else's perspective, the answers to some of their questions. So let me jump straight into it. Doesn't look like we have a whole lot of questions tonight, which is good. The first question is, within the development, are solar panels allowed? And that was from Daryl. The answer is absolutely, Daryl. We very much promote alternative energy, whether that's wind, whether that's solar. So yes, the answer is yes. We encourage that. What are the homeowners' dues or other periodic payments? So we have a $100 per month homeowners due collected through the City River Wildlife Reserve. Up until today, we haven't started charging that, but we will. It's imminent. I would say within the next 30 days, we're going to be charging the $100 per month. But that covers all of your general maintenance, security, a whole bunch of things. There's a full budget there, and which would spell out what that would be used for. If the lots are purchased, are there deadlines within which the house must be built out and or occupied? Charmaine, you get this a lot with your Coldwell Banker clients.
I absolutely do. Right now, we do not have any deadlines as far as, a timeline that you have to start construction. However, we will be implementing that a little later. I'm not sure when, but if you go ahead and purchase a lot now, a lot of my clients purchase a lot now and know they're going to start building in 2 years or 3 years and up to 5 years, 10 years, some of them. So it is quite open right now.
Absolutely. We get this question a lot, and I'll tell you that our idea when we flooded the marina, we said we're going to institute a 2-year window where you have to start building the home. We looked through the list. We looked at the number of owners. We decided, well, I had to ask myself the question, what constitutes a community? So we have 1,700, plus or minus, 1,700 residential lots and about 250 residential units, townhomes, villas, condos. We had to ask ourselves the question, how many residential units, whether it was a condo, townhome, or single-family home, constitute a community? Was it a complete 100% build out of the development, or was it a percentage of the development? We came up with the number of 300. So we felt that within the next 3 to 4 years, if we had, and 4 at the outside, but, within the next 3 years, if we had 300 homes built or 300 units built, would that constitute a community? And we felt the answer was yes. I feel very comfortable out of 800 owners today, we're going to have 300 units built, combination of townhomes, condos, villas, and single family in the next 3 years.
Absolutely.
Because of that, we then said, all right, we're not going to institute a time frame to build. We think that that's enough people to constitute community. So, Daryl, hopefully that answers your question. Here we have a great question. This is from Dina Finer. Hopefully, Dina, I pronounced your last name correctly. In my research, I came across Rob Enderley column in Tech News World. He made a comment to the fact that there has been a second project started that has taken precedence over Sanctuary Belize. Could you comment on this? I will absolutely comment, Dina. Here's what I'll say. This was a lot owner within the development who was very uninformed to 90% of the comments that he made in his article. That article was purely his opinion. There was no factual basis. This wasn't a reporter that went down to look at the project and then reported back. This was an owner that for some reason became disgruntled because, ironically, on September 23rd, 3 short months before that, he wrote a pretty glowing article about it. And in fact, Dina, if you go and search for that article, you'll find a link right underneath it to where after we weren't very happy with his assessment and his article and a lot of the misinformation that he put in his article. We addressed a lot of his questions. We set him straight, and he wrote almost a complete retraction to that article. So there is not a second project that has been started. We do have a second project. We have not started that project at this point in time. But that really speaks to, does it matter if we do? It only matters if we take resources, financial resources, away from Sanctuary Belize and put it into a second project. I can tell you that A, that has not happened. B, that is not happening. And C, even if we started the new project, we wouldn't be using development proceeds from Sanctuary Belize to fund that second development. So my answer to that is no, we have not started a second project. nor would it compromise the work that we're doing and or take away from a financial standpoint revenues from Sanctuary Belize to go do something else. So hopefully that answers the question. You might seem to think I'm a little passionate about my answer. I am, because I felt that it was very unfair. I felt that Mr. Enderle abused his position in the media by writing such an article, particularly when it was an opinion piece, and he made a lot of allegations that in fact were not true. So yeah, I was a little ticked about it, right? Your next question, Dina, was, in my research, it has been found that it's hard to get the QRP even if you qualify. No, and in fact, it may be hard depending on who you use to help you get the QRP. So if you want to go through the Belize Tourism Board, if you want to say go through Atlantic Bank's Atlantic International Bank has a subsidiary known as Atlantic International Corporate Services. They can do the QRP for you. Those guys are great. Depends who you use down in Belize to do the QRP for you. So again, obviously the key is to qualify, but we can point you in the right direction to help expedite that. Thomas Doncaster. Hi, Thomas. You asked the question, when purchasing property in Belize, does the investor actually own it, or is it a 99-year or more lease? Charmaine, that's actually a good question for you to answer because you get it with Coldwell Banker all the time.
Absolutely. In the country of Belize, it is fee simple real estate, which means you own your own property. You get title, very similar to the United States. So you don't have to worry about these 99, leases or the government coming in and taking your property. You absolutely own your own property and you get title once it's paid off.
Is that the case in Nicaragua? Is it the case in Mexico? Is it the case in Costa Rica, Panama?
Absolutely not.
Civil law country.
That's correct.
Different
Belize
ownership.
is a common law country, correct.
So yes, you have fee simple ownership of the real estate, which actually is something, of course, that gives a lot of comfort to people when they're buying real estate, that it's been deeded to you, you own it, the government can't take it away from you. John Flora says, my wife is 42, I'm 35. If we buy the land and home in her name, would the QRP program apply to us when she turns 45? Yeah, absolutely. As soon as you turn 45, John, you're good to go to apply for the QRP, as long as you can substantiate your $2,000 a month or more in income. Jeff Shields says, can you provide documentation to confirm debt-free status? Yeah, absolutely, Jeff. No problem. In fact, we have a whole due diligence package that we can send out for you if you're interested. John Crossan. Hi, John. Hi, Skip. How are you? Nice to see you on the webinar tonight. What is the current status and time frame for the full-service marina? How many slips are now available, and when will they be offered for sale? It's a great question, John. I do not have the complete answers to that. The reason I don't have the complete answers to it is because now of the appointment of IGY as the manager of the marina. It's very good news for everyone within the development to have such a credible marina management operator coming in to operate the marina. They have asked us to not sell any slips in the marina until they come in and take over. We have about, I think it's 68 slips in the marina right now. We are under construction putting in the gas dock, not only for boats, but for vehicles in the marina village right now. That should be finished by the first quarter here. So when you're looking at essential services, which is power, water, and fuel, and then provisioning through a general store, by the end of this year, we plan to be fully operational in the marina. Hopefully that answers your question. But that timeline is going to be dictated by IGY when we get these guys in. Susan Shoulders asks, is the $150 a square foot US or Belize dollars? It is US dollars, Susan. Can you get us home as small as 900 or 1,000 square feet from Lana Van Veen? Lana, without our building guidelines, our architectural guidelines dictate that the smallest home within Sanctuary Belize is actually 1,200 square feet. But you're pretty close there at the 1,000 square feet. It's going to be 1,200 square feet for you. What is the average square footage of the homes? From Mark Azarian. Mark, I would say, and we have different styles of homes being built, but I'm going to say that you're looking at about 2,300 square feet on average is probably the average size of the homes within the development. I think that it's going to get a little bit larger as we go, because I'm sure you're going to see a lot of custom homes built on the development. So I think it'd be fair to say 2,500 square feet, guys. What do you think?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
2,500 square feet.
But a lot of them could be smaller and some will be bigger. You don't have to have a big house. A lot of people want a 2-bedroom cottage, 1,500 square feet.
From Mick Ziegler. Hi, Mick. Mosquitoes a problem in the area. Also, any other insects that are prevalent? Are alcoholic drinks also included in the tour in addition to the meals? Let me back it up. Let me give you the good news first. You get all your alcohol included in the tour and your meals, no problem. We'll take care of you from that perspective. But it's Belize. It's the tropics, and you do have some bugs. I wouldn't say mosquitoes are a problem. Now, it depends where you go in the development. If you want to go back into the undeveloped areas where we're just starting to put roads in, for example, yeah, mosquitoes are going to be a problem, but it's anywhere where you're going to have standing water. As we get in there and develop these areas, you find that the mosquito problems go away. But, at the beach club, for example, at the marina, no problem with bugs whatsoever.
It's because of that beautiful Belizean breeze that you have.
Correct.
Too.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have the trade winds there with these prevailing winds that really help with the bug population. But I absolutely would say that bugs are not a problem. Now, there are things called doctor flies, which are like horse flies in the United States, the yellow fly, the horse fly. We have those down in Belize. Some people are allergic to them. They can be a problem sometimes. But when I say allergic, you kind of swell up. You need a little bit of Benadryl, whatever. But for the most part, they're few and far between as well. So I would say that generally speaking, it's not too much of a problem. Chris Turner asks, will the presentation be available online? Yes, it is. We're recording that right now, Chris, so we should have that up online for you by tomorrow, the end of the day tomorrow. The monthly residence fees from Guido are $100 a month, as I mentioned earlier. Will the 5% discount end on January 31 permanently, or will it possibly be reinstated? From Mick Ziegler. Mick, it's sometimes when we do the webinars, depending on how generous we're feeling, we offer the 5%. But I would say, I wouldn't say that we won't do it after January 31st, but I don't know when the next webinar might be. It might be in March, for example, and so you may have to wait a little while if you don't take some action now. Can you get a lot diagram from James Giafrida? Yeah, absolutely, James. Just contact your representative that you've been dealing with. Ask them to send you out a map of the master plan and the various subdivisions, and they'll be happy to do that for you. Can you sell real estate and earn a commission? Yeah, if you're a licensed real estate broker, absolutely. If you want to sell real estate and earn a commission, we'd love to have your help. No problem.
Don't forget, we have a lot of great agent tools for real estate.
We do, and Charmaine, I'm raining on her parade right now. But through Coldwell Banker, why don't you talk about that agent shield, all of that sort of stuff?
Aiden, if you would like to participate in that, you can contact me at CVOS at Coldwell Banker Belize. Luke, can you type that in there so he can have that? And I'll give you all the information. I have a lot of different tools, agent shields, some marketing ideas, and other things that agents have had really great success with. So just shoot me an email, and I'll be more than happy to set you up with that.
Just sending the email address of Charmaine out right now. Some of the we have double ups, so I'm just looking at some of the questions here. We have some double ups in terms of the same question. The time frame to build, for example, no, we don't have that. Homes range in size from what? So I would say 1,200 square feet up. The largest home we have there is about 5,000 square feet right now.
One, two, or three story. Remember, you can go 1, 2, or 3 story, or all on one floor.
Correct. HOA fees, $100 a month. You explain financing options for the lot. What are the financing options available for the home or the building from Greg Roth? Great question, Greg. We have a construction loan program with Atlantic International Bank, and it's a 70% LTV. So again, this is a program that we've negotiated, and it's kind of from our buying power, if you will, from Sanctuary of dealing with one of the largest banks in Belize, Atlantic International, probably the most credible bank in Belize. It is a 70% LTV. However, the interest rate's 9.25. It's a little high, but it's certainly half a point lower than you would get if you walked in off the street. So it's a 15-year term, fully amortized over 15 years. So these are the best terms in Belize. If you think you're going to get any better on your own, you're not. You're just not going to. So it's 9.25% over 15 years, 70% LTV. From Jeff, is it Vote?
Vote.
Vote, VOGT. Hopefully, Jeff, we got that right. Nicely done, guys. Thank you very much. I'm 43, have a family, 2 children, 1 wife. Just the one wife? Sorry, being a little facetious. Just sold a great business. Why is Belize good for us? And if Belize, why your place? Thanks. Jeff, I'd like to get to know you a little bit more, have a little bit more information than that. It depends on, with your one wife and your 2 children, what you guys plan on doing to determine whether or not Belize would be a great place for you. If you just sold some money, if you sold a business and you have some money, I think Belize is a great place for a financial investment, either from a real estate standpoint or just putting your money into the bank down there. Maybe that sale of the business has freed up some capital for you to start a different business. Maybe you might qualify to do that, via an IBC, an International Business Corporation, that you could incorporate down in Belize or somewhere else for that matter. So I don't really know. I'd like to know a little bit more about you, but I think that the key points that we hit on before, Belize is in great proximity to the United States. So even now at 43, if you were to move down there, you're still going to, I imagine, come back to the United States, quite regularly. You probably have family and friends back here, so it's close. You could do that. Close enough for your family and friends to come visit you down in Belize. It's a very safe place for your kids. The standard of education from an elementary and high school perspective is very high. In fact, the standard is regarded as being higher than the United States. The literacy rate is much higher. So from that perspective, it's a great place for kids. For example, me and my kids, I want my kids learning things firsthand through life experience and not really through textbooks. That's one of my drivers for Belize. I want to allow my kids to be outside, running around, playing, swimming, and not worry about them like I do here in California. It's giving my children the sort of life that I had growing up in Australia that I think doesn't really exist in too many other places today. Very, very friendly, kind, local community down in Belize. And there's diversity within Sanctuary Belize. So there's a lot of outdoor activities. You're still 43, young, hopefully physically active for you and your wife to do, but things that you could do with your kids as well. You'd be out diving, fishing, snorkeling, swimming, doing all that sort of stuff. So it's an outdoor lover's paradise. And from our standpoint, we have a lot of different amenities. You're going to have everything that you need within the Marina Village itself. And we have organic gardens where you can be picking your own organic produce and living off that. So it's a good, healthy lifestyle opportunity for you. And then we have diversity in the size of lots that we have. Again, whether you wanted something, you wanted some large acreage. If you had horses, for example, you want to be on the river, you want to park your own boat in your driveway and your slip on your lot, we can do that for you. So a lot of different options. So again, like to talk about your situation specifically as to why I may think Sanctuary Belize and Belize is a good option, or it may not be. If you wanted high-rise buildings and a pretty lively nightlife, Belize is probably not for you. If you want to be golfing every day or snow skiing, Belize is probably not for you. So there are some reasons why it might not be for you, but a lot of reasons why it may be for you. John Crossan, what is the cost and process of annual real estate taxes? Is only the land tax or the land of the buildings? Great question. It is not a property tax. It is a land tax, meaning that it's the land only, not the land and the improvements. The land tax is negligible. It's really nothing. Rich, you're in Sapodilla Ridge.
Right.
What is your annual property tax bill?
I bought my lot for $150,000. It's now worth about $250,000. My property taxes last year were $49.
$49.
If
annual.
I build $1 million house on my $150,000 lot, they stay at $49 a year.
Correct.
Annually, not a week or a month.
And I don't know what Johnny's was last year, but the year before it was $8.73 or something, Belize. So, that's $4, let's call it $4 US. So there's no real rhyme or reason as to what it is, but I've never heard of a lot within the development being anything more than I think $50, $60. Yeah. You're on the higher end of the scale, right, by the way. So it's very, very low, and it's only in the areas with with final approval. So we have preliminary approval on some of the lots. And if your subdivision is fully authenticated, then we send out the property tax bill. If it's not yet authenticated, we as the developer are picking up that cost for you. Donald McAvoy, will you have a boat launch in place for storage should an owner not buy a marina slip or lot on the water? Rich, you know all about that?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, there's a dry dock and boat storage area that will be at the southern area of the development in the Sapodilla Ridge. And there will definitely be a locked area where you could put your boat. So if you came down for a month, you could keep your boat locked up until you come down. When it comes down, you can have somebody put it in the water for you. You could then probably rent a space at the in the marina for a month or take it in and out during the day. So yes, absolutely a locked area. You do not have to be on the water to have a boat.
Yeah, absolutely. And your other question is there any tours available after the April 15th tax season? Absolutely. Donna, we have a tour available every single weekend starting Friday, ending Tuesday. No problem. If you want to book a tour, which is what I would encourage you to do, and then for some reason your plans change, you need to move the date, we can just move you to another weekends, no problem. But our tours are filling up, so I would encourage you to probably try to book one as soon as you can. Steve Smith says, I'm looking to see if we can make it there after our trip to Punta Cana. If we can change the flight, where we would be in Belize 2/15 to 18. Great, Steve. I'm really not the logistics person. We have somebody, Christy, is our logistics person with booking the tours. I would just here. I'm going to give you
February 14th is a Friday, so you would be there. Steve, over the weekend of the 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th. So based upon the time that you're going to be there,
yes,
we should be able to put it together.
Yeah. I just don't know about availability. So
right. That is a very popular weekend because it is Valentine's Day.
So I'm just sending you guys Christy's email address if you guys are interested in booking the tour. She's going to be able to help you out with that. Is the minimum lot $250 US and with a $5,000 refundable deposit discount? So the min lot is $237.5 for a lot from Tim Shields. Actually, Tim, $250 is the average price for a lot within the development, but our cheapest lot, the inventory right now, Rich,
$149.
$149.
We have somebody at $139 unless it was sold earlier today.
I've lost here's my calculator somewhere.
So
thank you. So at $149, Tim, you're looking at $141,550 with the $5,000 deposit. However, if you wanted to pay cash for that lot, we also offer an additional 15% discount. So that 149 lot becomes $119,200 if you were going to pay cash for the lot. Pretty great deal, in my opinion. Travis King asks, if we are buying a lot for investment reasons and say we resell in 2 years, how will that process work? Will we have to find somebody with the cash to buy, or will there be financing in-house, etc. for this? Charmaine.
Okay, Travis. I know that my recommendation is if you're looking for this to be an investment, I like to tell my clients to wait at least 3 to 5 years before you turn around and sell. At that point, you would contact us. We're going to have an office in the Marina Village, a Coldwell Banker real estate office there, and we'll be handling the resales from there. So it'll be very easy. We'll have someone on site, all to show property, and depending on your the way that you're going to purchase your lot, financing, all of that, some financing is assumable. So if you would like to talk to me a little bit further about that, I know Luke had put out my email address. Please feel free to shoot me an email. But it is pretty easy to turn around and sell your lot if this is just purely an investment.
Rich, do you want to chime in? What do you tell your clients?
Yeah, I always want to tell everybody that you have to wait to after we stop selling, really. And the developer, as if we're selling,
well, you don't have
to, but it's
in order to not compete with us,
right?
It's probably a good idea. Now, what does our timeline look like until we're going to be sold out? A year to 18 months.
Right.
So your time frame, Travis, of 2 years is a good time frame. I'd say plan on holding this thing for 3 years to get maximum bang for your buck. That would be my advice to you.
Absolutely.
John Cook says, can you build yourself on your own lot? Yes, we want to see that you're a licensed builder because, A, we want to ensure that you're getting a quality home built, but also there's the Central Building Authority in Belize, and they have to grant you permission as well, so you have to be licensed. So, no problem. Can you use a 403B for purchase or down payment? 403B, I assume you're referring to as a retirement account. You have to convert that to a self-directed IRA, and we have some people that we can point you to guide you in the right direction and get that done. But you can purchase with retirement funds. Donald McAvoy, how close is local shopping for groceries and retail, Charmaine?
Right now,
keep in mind, it will be available on site.
Correct. So you'll have everything there at the Marina Village. But right now, we go about 30 minutes. It's a 30-minute drive to the nearest supermarket, so it isn't too bad. And then sometimes once a week, we have a truck that comes onto the site and brings vegetables and eggs and all of those things.
Rich?
Well, when I was there with Johnny, I remember a big truck pulling in, and they brought chicken and eggs and beer and wine and pork and everything. They'll deliver everything to Sanctuary Belize.
How'd I miss that truck?
Well, you missed the truck.
I missed the wine truck?
You missed the truck. No, but they'll deliver everything to Sanctuary Belize. But if you want to go grocery shopping, there's a lovely grocery store right in Placencia, which is about a half an hour, 40 minutes away, right across the street from the bank, right? So you can go to the bank, go to the grocery store, have lunch at Wendy's little cafe, or go to the little gelato place, make a day of it, and do your grocery shopping and go home, if you want to do that.
Absolutely. Is there any local schooling nearby that you would be up to North American standards? I have a young child. Absolutely. Yes, there are schools very close by. We plan on having a school on site at Sanctuary at some point in the future. We don't know when, probably when I decide to move my kids down there, and then it becomes a burning need for me to not have to homeschool them myself, and I can send them off to school at Sanctuary. So, yeah, the plan is eventually we'll have a school at Sanctuary that would be, of international standard. And there are schools in very close proximity to the development right now that are very much up to US standard, if not better, right now. Next question from Steve Smith. Is there any tours scheduled on either side of the 3rd, so March 6th to 9th? Can you look that
Yes,
up,
because
Every
I'm
There
week.
will
going
be,
to
because
be
we do them
there.
every weekend.
Every Friday through Tuesday, there's a
March
tour.
7th. The tour starts March 7th.
There you go. What are the lot prices at the Beach Club, Aden? Unfortunately, we don't have any lots at the Beach Club, Aden, but we do have lots in close proximity starting at $219. Can we rent the home out? Yes, you can. Charmaine is going to be your contact for doing that. We're not doing that right at this point in time through Coldwell Banker, but there will be an opportunity for rentals, but those will be done through Coldwell Banker in time. Jeff Vogt, thank you for the help with the pronunciation. Sorry about that for messing it up before. So this is Ron Fordham. You stated average lot prices are $250. So assuming I build an 1,800 square foot home, you'd be looking about $565. Correct. I haven't done the math, but the math looks correct to me. 1,800 by 175 is 315 plus 250.
565.
565, correct. And again, if you go down from there on the lot price, you could be, let's say you were at the $150 a square foot by 1,800 square feet is $270. If you bought the cheapest lot and you paid cash, it's $120,000. It's possible you could be in your home, 1,800 square foot home, for $390,000. Who approves building plans? So we can see those rules from Tim Shields. We have an architectural design review board, Tim, and we have design guidelines. Be more than happy to send you out a copy of those.
And Tim, I know that I think you and I have been talking. This is Richard Otto, so I'll make sure we get that to you tomorrow, Tim.
What, you haven't got it to him yet, Rich?
I didn't know he needed it.
Time for a new consultant,
Okay,
Tim.
sorry.
Mick Ziegler asks, what price range will the townhomes be in, starting at?
Depending upon what, 459 for some of the homes, is that correct?
For starting at about 550.
550.
Yeah.
Okay.
How many full-time folks live there right now that have bought a lot, from Tim Shields? So we have full-time people living on the development. We have, 25 living on the development right now?
That sounds about right.
Approximately.
Probably a little bit more, actually.
Yeah, maybe a little more. And we have orders for probably another 30, 40 homes this year. So you're hitting critical mass within the development now. A lot of our development has been subterranean. We've been digging a lot of holes, canals, marinas, all the rest of it. So a lot of that's labor intensive and it's cost intensive. So, for the last couple of years, people may say, well, the development is a little bit slow. It's only because it's under the ground. You can't see a lot. Now that we're done with a lot of our subterranean work, all of the focus is on vertical construction. You're going to see a lot of vertical construction with multifamily and single family, as well as the amenities in the Marina Village going up this year. It's going to be a big, big, big year for construction at Sanctuary Belize. Can I visit the property? When, how, whose expense? From James Giafrida. James, it's the Discover Sanctuary Belize tour. It's every weekend. It is Friday through Tuesday. It's $9.99 for a single person. It is $12.99 for a couple, and that's our current pricing. Or have we? Again, my apologies. I'm out of the loop with this stuff. Are we down to $7.99? All right.
$9.99.
All right. So we were generous, I guess. We got generous. We put the cost of the tour to $7.99 for a single, $9.99 for a couple. And that's heavily subsidized. It's well over half off the normal cost. So if you want to contact your consultant that you've been working for, they can get you booked on a tour. Are there options that are already built and ready for purchase, or only lot purchase? You can do a lot and home purchase, and there are a couple of homes available for sale on the development. And you can buy a lot yourself, or you can buy a lot with a contract to build a home as well. We can happily do that for you. CC&Rs, can we see them? Absolutely. We'll get those out to you as well. Can you tell us about Americans starting a business in Belize? Yes, there are many Americans that have started businesses down in Belize. depends on what business. So that's kind of a broad question. And Jeff, maybe again, that's something just for a more detailed conversation. I'd make myself available to that if you wanted to let me know what it was exactly that you wanted to do. I could talk to you about that and tell you what your chances were of being able to do that down in Belize. What's the average cost of living in Belize and its sanctuary? It's comparable to the United States for a lot of things like utilities and then labor, for example. So when I mentioned cost of living, like if you wanted a maid, for example, very, very cheap labor. Utility cost is comparable. Food and beverage cost is less than you would have in the United States. So on average, less than the USA. Ron Fordham asks, what would be the cost of delivering a 30-foot boat from Canada to Sanctuary Belize? No idea, but I do know the person who can get you that answer. So if you want to shoot me an email, I'm going to give you my email right now. You can send me an email asking me that question, and I'll point you in the right direction. So we can give this to our children based on your answer, meaning the real estate can be deeded to your children. Yes. I assume that's your question. The answer is yes. Is each purchaser an investor in Sanctuary Belize? No. Each purchaser is simply a lot owner. They're a landowner. They own land. We're selling land, fee simple land. You are not an investor within the project. Any condos in the development? Yes, and we have some floor plans and pricing that we can send you out. We haven't launched them yet. We're getting that they're imminent, getting very close, and we can get that information out to you. How long does it take to build a home? Because somebody's thinking of moving in August of 2014. I would say you're probably not going to have your homes finished by August of 2014. You might be close. It depends what sort of home. You want to build one of our models, we could get started on that soon. If it was a custom home where you needed architectural's done and engineering plans done and then engineered to Belize standard and approved by the Central Building Authority in Belize, that's going to take time. But again, if it was a buildable set of plans on a model that we have, you could be done by August. So it just depends what you want to build. I'm a retired electronics technician. Would it be a position to service the resort? We may have a position for you. I just say to everybody, send your resume. We'll take a look at it. We pass it on to the development team in Belize. And if there's a need, then absolutely we'll interview you for that. Did I understand that the lot is 0% financing, but what is the rate for financing the house? So I mentioned that before, Rami. It's 9.25% amortized over 15 years for 70% LTV on the home financing. It's not necessarily 0% financing on the lot. We have a 0% rate, but that's if you put 50% down and you finance the balance over 5 years. Our rates are according to how much money you put down. Are there alligators? No, but there's plenty of crocodiles down there. Not really in the developed areas, though.
No.
Good question, though. Charles Smith, who are the owners of the development? That would be me and my partner, John, who you would meet when you would come down to Belize. From Rhett Christensen, would it be a bad idea to bring my kids down on the tour? They are 12 and 5. No, I would encourage you to bring them because you want to know if this is a place where your kids are going to be happy. I dare say a big part of your buying decision is going to be on how does it impact my children? How do they like it down there? Do they like spending time down there? You're going to get a real good indication of that if you bring them with you. So I would encourage you to bring your kids on the tour, no problem.
And Brett, I'm there a lot and see so many children have a really, really good time on property day going on the Polarises, and they actually have a really good
time. Can you rent the homes out when you're not staying on site? From Karen Clare. Karen, there's not a huge demand for that now. It will grow, and again, that's something that Charmaine with Coldwell Banker Belize will help you with. I heard the commission to sell real estate is 10% from Travis McConnell. It depends, Travis. It depends if it's raw land. Usually on raw land, large development parcels, it's 10%. For real estate, Coldwell Banker, you charge.
For Sanctuary Belize, we charge 7.5%. But yes, the industry standard in Belize is 10% for the rest of the country.
My wife is an RN here in the States. What hoops would she have to jump through? She specializes in geriatrics. I don't really know an answer to that question, Tim, but I do know that we can point you in the right direction. Johnny has a lot of contacts in Belize and can point you in the right direction. There's a shortage of good quality healthcare professionals. They're always looking for American-trained medical professionals. I don't think it would be an issue whatsoever to get a job there. What about the new international airport being built nearby? It's close. It's about 10 minutes south of us. It's a private real estate development group that is doing it. I cannot speak to the timeline other than, I think it's going to be done here by an operational as a domestic airport by the end of this year, hopefully as an international airport by the end of next year. But I'm not the developer, so I don't really know. Am I confident that somebody's going to finish that project? Yes, I am, but can't really speak to the time frame, unfortunately. The average lot size from Susan's shoulders is about half an acre. Rich?
I was going to say that you can go anywhere from a half an acre, Susan, and I'll, of course, be talking to you. I think you came into us through our really good friend Scott Houston off of Facebook. And there are lots of half an acre, all the way up to 5 acres. But the average lot size, not on the water, is about 1 acre.
I'm sending James a private message. James, just an answer to your question about who you might be able to contact. Sent you some details on that. No problem. What type of financing there for Belize citizens? So, Karen, that's a good question. The financing for Belizeans is different than it is for Americans. And I'm not Belizean. I'm not well versed on what those current rates and terms are for locals, but we could get you that information, no problem. From Sue Chiappini. Sue, hello. What are the lot price ranges? So we're anywhere from 149 up to, I think. Well, we don't have
like $8.99.
Probably $8.99 right now. And the cost to attend the tour as a single person is $799, $999 if you're a couple. What about telecommunications from Rami, from internet to TV? Where does it stand at the resort? Great question. We do have internet at the resort. It's pretty good. It's pretty reliable. We do not have any TV at the resort, but we will have in about 2 weeks. So for the longest time, we decided not to put TVs in there. Canantique is being used exclusively for the tours for Sanctuary. But when Canantique was an operational resort, they used to get a lot of honeymooners. It was kind of a more romantic destination. So the idea was to not have TV there. But now that it's being used and utilized exclusively for the tours, we do have a lot of people that come down on the weekends that surprisingly have an interest in sports and various things. Want to know what's going on in the rest of the world. And, for this weekend, I'm sure they're going to want to watch the Super Bowl. They'll be at our beach club this weekend watching it. But in about 2 weeks, they would be able to do that at Canantique because there's going to be TVs and a faster internet service being installed into the resort down there. The nearest airport internationally is Belize City, which is about 25-minute puddle jumper flight. But for one of the Cessna Caravans, what we deem to be a puddle jumper flight, we have an airstrip right on site at Canantique. Jeff, thanks. Hope to see you as well at the end of March. That would be great. Wow, my taxes are $6,300. Hopefully that's not in Belize.
She'd have to own the whole country.
From an annual property tax standpoint, maybe, yes. Rental management services for vacation homes, yes. Coldwell Banker will do that for you, Susan, no problem. The average price of a car in Belize, it depends. Again, is it gas? Is it diesel? You can get a small, dual cab pickup, which is the manufacturer is a Mahindra. In Belize, they're about $25,000 US. You can get,
And that's brand new.
that's brand new.
Yeah.
You get Toyota like Land Cruisers down there that are $80,000, $100,000. It just depends on what you want. From Mickey Biddle, yes, I mentioned condos. We will have condos for available soon, starting around the 550 price range. And they're more townhomes, I would say, than condos themselves. What are the rules for importing pets? I know that there is some type of arrangement with the US where if you have your papers from the US, you can bring pets into the country. You can't bring things like birds in that may be detrimental to to their bird population in Belize, but things like dogs and cats, yeah, absolutely no problem. Is marijuana legal? The answer is no, it isn't legal in Belize. The hurricane history of this area of Belize, probably I don't know exactly, but I'd say in our area at Sanctuary Belize, there's probably been less than 5 hurricanes make landfall in the last 100 years. So we're in the hurricane belt, but we would be maybe 1/10 or even less of what the US would get, I would imagine. Again, thank you. Hope to see you. No problem. To work or own business, do you have to have dual citizenship? No, you don't. You just have to have residency down there. Do you have to finance through Belize, or can you use an outside source? Yeah, if you can get it, Dina, no problem. So we can talk to you about that. We'll be coming in July of 2013 and would like to visit your location. What should I do to accomplish this? Contact your consultant. If you don't have one, I'm emailing this address over to you right now, and you can contact that person. Sorry, July 2014. Yep, got that. No problem. Last 3 questions. Thanks for your time. Great presentation. We'll be following up with the by Belize agent. We'll sign off now. Great. Thanks, Donald. No problem. What's the price of beer, Ron? For you, it's free. When you come on the tours, we'd happily buy you a beer. But it's a couple of bucks, I guess.
Yeah.
Pretty cheap. Our utilities run over $12,000 a year at our California ranch house. You said the utility. Well, it depends, Steve. Obviously, it depends on the size of the house, what your consumption is. What I do know is you tend to use less in Belize, particularly on your homes, depending on how they're constructed. If you get good cross ventilation, for example. So I guess it just depends. So, guys, looks like that is the end of all of our questions. I want to thank you very much for taking your time to stick on. We still got 55 people on, surprisingly, at the end of over 2 hours. If you missed any of this, it's been recorded, so we'll make it available for you. And we would love to see you sometime in Belize on one of our Discover Sanctuary Belize tours. So thanks very much, and we'll see you soon.
Good night.
Good night.